It was the year 2000. I was there. Not about as close as you can come. But I didn't come here to talk about my days in the sun. I came here to make a point. In this league, everyone gets a turn. All 32 teams. If you're up now, you'll be down again at some point. It's not going to be Brady and Manning forever. So don't tell me that these two teams don't matter. Don't tell me that Mariota and Bortles don't give their teams a shot. Tonight, next week, next month, and for years to come. You know, the future. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all.
How about that open by Eddie George, the best of the year at the Tennessee Performing Arts Center in Nashville. Getting ready for the Titans and the Jags. Telvin Smith at the Jags is mic'd up, and here's what he had to say right before this kick.
Make plays all days, have confidence, do your job, trust the guy next to you. Do your job, trust the guy next to you. Every play, we'll ball out. Backers on three, 1, 2, 3, back.
Well, Telvin was mic'd up, but you heard Paul Posluszny, the other linebacker who makes so many plays, Dan Skuta too, and that bunch is ready to go. In fact, they're going to be on that field here shortly because the Jags elected to defer and send it down to the visitors to get this game started. Jason Myers will kick it off. He, of course, won the game Sunday on the final play from 53 yards out against the Ravens. McCluster takes a knee, and we are going to welcome to the field Marcus Mariota, the second pick in the draft, the Heisman Trophy winner out of Oregon. Just sensational so far this year on the road. 10 touchdowns, not a single interception. He's had 2 4-touchdown games on the road already, Phil.
Well, he's done a lot of good things as a rookie quarterback, no doubt, Jim. We talked about in the opening. That's why the franchise is excited about him. What's his key tonight? They just want to make sure they don't let him get hit too much. So how do you avoid that? Run the football and move the quarterback a lot when you try to throw it.
He's got Antonio Andrews at running back, and they open with 3 tight ends. Again, they're thin at wide receiver today. And the run off the left side. Look at Andrews. Finally falls down, but they blew the whistle a little earlier. Telvin Smith gets credit for the tackle. That's a common occurrence. That's a gain of 2. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, and all the crew happy to be here in Jacksonville as the Titans and the Jags square off for the first time this year. Mike Mularkey, the interim coach for the Titans, he was the head coach here in Jacksonville back in 2012.
Yes, he was. Only 1 year. Of course, that's got to be upsetting to get released after 1 year. What a tough situation for him with the Tennessee Titans. Comes in, tries to change the team a little bit, but hard to do mid-season, midweek.
They go with 3 wides and rolling out. Mariota completes his first pass, and that's to the veteran in that receiving core. That's Harry Douglas, the former Falcon. And it looks like they have it right, the nose right on the 30, which will be good enough for a first.
I think you could see this a lot tonight. The little fake zone read, give it to the running back, get Mariota outside. And that way, this offensive line is a little, I guess suspect, you'd say, for the Tennessee Titans. And one thing you're going to notice all night long when you watch Mariota throw the football, it is one compact motion, throws beautiful spirals, and throws it on target.
They are keen on starting fast because they have not done that at all this year, this offense. So after 1 first down, here's the play to open up the next set of downs, and that's wide of the mark. Trying to hit Craig Stevens. It'll be 2nd and 10. How about debuting at Tampa and being Mr. Perfect? Perfect quarterback rating in his first official game, winning by 28 down there against the Bucs.
Yeah, that'll give you some confidence. So one thing he said to me that I said, what about the NFL? And he goes, I got to tell you the truth. I was a little shocked about how fast it is, the defenses, how they react, and how much they do on the defensive side compared to college. Of course, you would expect that or hear that from every rookie quarterback.
2nd and 10. And again, it's Andrews. He slides off the first hit, but not Telvin Smith. Gain of 4. The 4-touchdown performance in game 1 of his career, the only other quarterback to ever do that, to debut in the league and throw 4 in his first game, Fran Tarkington. Wow. And there's a guy that could move around a little bit too.
He could move around too, a lot in common there. And the one thing is, you look at this Jacksonville defense, you see Tennessee trying to run the football, but they are one of the best against the run in the NFL. In fact, they lead the NFL in yards per carry in the run defense category.
It's 3rd and 6, and the Jags have 6 defensive backs in the game. McCluster wide to the right, and here's the pass, a tight window, and he finds it with McCluster picking up the first.
Yeah, you said it, tight window. Devon House on the coverage. How about McCluster? We saw it when he was in Kansas City. Can play the slot receiver, reverses, loves screens, and can go out and be a wide receiver. And they need McCluster and Delaney Walker to come through tonight for him, especially in the passing game.
Yeah, McCluster, the only player in the league who has over 200 yards in punt return yardage, plus 200 kick return, rushing, and receiving, all 4 ways. He picks up the first on a 3rd and 6, and now another set of downs as they've now moved the chains twice. Take the draw, go up top, and they've got another completion. And shaking off the hit is Delaney Walker, one of the keys to this game for you, Phil. Walker with a gain of 21.
Yeah, it really is. It's a big key. And here's what happens. You got one safety in the middle, so they love to throw these inside seam routes when you play this style of defense. So the play action fake, look how aggressive the linebackers, plus Lesney, he came flying up and allowed Delaney Walker to be wide open.
Walker, their leading receiver on the season. That was his 46th catch. And now from the Jacksonville side of the field, an impressive start here for the Titans. As Andrews falls sideways for another gain of 3. We're seeing Andrews handling it early, but they are going to have up and in action tonight David Cobb, a running back they drafted this year out of the University of Washington. They have big hopes for him. As you see Mariota, his performance on the road versus being at home, and they haven't won in a long time. It's a big different story. Plus the comparisons with Marino, not bad. Talking about David Cobb, he's from Minnesota. We'll see him a little bit later. 2nd and 7, and a completion for about another 8 as Pisano has that grab.
Well, Gus Bradley, leading this team for the 3rd year, has got to sit there and look at his defense. What has been the problem down here when you talk about this football team? I think the main thing, Jim, is when you talk about Jacksonville's defense, it just doesn't have enough speed to make those impact plays. And they have a hard time getting to the quarterback. And Mariota getting rid of the football so fast might make Gus Bradley and Bob Babbage, the defensive coordinator, decide, hey, we better blitz, or he's going to keep picking us apart.
So they're going to go spread here. Shotgun 3rd and 1. Mariota keeps it, and he is swarmed under. What a tackle. Branch the first to get to him, and they'll bring out the field goal unit.
Excellent job on the edge. Andre Branch is there, and then the other one is Telvin Smith. He's the one that keeps Mariota where he cannot get outside and gain the first down.
Boy, Telvin Smith, if you watch the game film, you'll just notice how many times number 50's in on the play.
Never comes off the field.
47 yards, field goal try from Ryan Suckup, 10 out of 11 on the year. Former Kansas City kicker in his 7th season in the league. Out of a hold by Kern, and the kick is good. So points on the board for the Titans to open this game.
Great job by the Tennessee Titans. Good job of getting the football by Mariota. Has to give them a lot of confidence, Jim.
Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Verizon. Watch live, local, and primetime games on NFL Mobile, included only on Verizon. And by Papa John's new Epic Meats Pizza, only $12 at papajohns.com. The Naval Air Station, Jacksonville, located just 4 miles away from downtown Jacksonville. Okay, so Mariota completes 4 passes to 4 different receivers, and Tennessee puts up a field goal. And now we'll get a chance to see the Jags for the first time on offense. Suckup's kick headed in the direction of Denard Robinson. And that's another touchback as well. Blake Bortles. Well, he's been on quite a stretch here, throwing touchdown passes, at least 2 in 5 straight games. So while Mariota was taken with the 2nd overall selection this spring, 2 springs ago, Blake Bortles was the 3rd pick in the draft, the first quarterback taken. They had talked about maybe not playing him his rookie year, but that didn't last very long. He saw a lot of action.
Yep.
And that experience is now starting to pay off, isn't it?
It's a good point. They're glad they didn't listen to themselves and played him last year because he's playing better.
On first down, he goes down the field. Nice. At the last minute, that ball is knocked down by Arakpo, the former Redskin linebacker.
Well, they're trying to get Julius Thomas into this game plan, into this football team, so they send him deep down the sideline. And how about that, Arakpo? Nice job of just reacting to the fact that Julius Thomas raised those arms and knocked the football down. Just
guesswork, really, with the hand.
That's it.
And he guessed right.
When the receiver's hands go up, get your hand, rake it through the middle of it.
The running back is T.J. Yeldon, the rookie taken this past spring in the 2nd round out of Alabama. And Bortles, 2nd and 10, completion, and that's to Thomas again. This time it's a catch for 5. What is it about Bortles you see that you like?
Well, there's no doubt when you watch him play, I talked about the improvement, but he's tough, he's got courage. Those things you can't teach, Jim, but what they got to do and they want to do with him is to dial it back a little. In other words, don't stand out there. Don't try to take every play to the end and take all the big hits, because in this league, no matter how big and tough you are, sooner or later, the defense is going to win that battle.
3rd and 5, they bring in Marquise Lee, the former USC star, at the bottom of the screen. He's had nagging hamstring issues his first 2 years, but healthy now. Bortles able to get it away, but that was very well defended by Michael Griffin. Pass thrown in the direction of Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah, good job. And what is this Tennessee defensive line? It's the strength of the football team, and that's what happened that time. Avery Jones, number 95. No, I'm sorry, not Avery Jones. That was Angelo Blackson. The defensive lineman dropped back in coverage, made Bortles hold the football, and nobody open.
Brian Anger, in his 4th year from Cal Berkeley, ready to send it down to Dexter McCluster, who's had 3 career punt returns for touchdowns. That's the back up to about the 21, and McCluster ducks under the 2nd hit, and then finally falls at the 28. No rain, thankfully. It was raining heavily when we got to the stadium. Been going nonstop for a better part of the day.
A lot of humidity, though, I'll say that.
Tonight's Next Gen Stats are brought to you by Go90. Watch the NFL on the go with Go90. Go90 to watch, cut, and share all the awesome. Okay, now, after keeping the football for almost 6 minutes with their first drive, that Tennessee offense is right back on the field again as the Titans forced a 3 and out. That's a nice looking run that time by Antonio Andrews. Picks up 11.
Yeah, it's excellent on the right side. You got Chance Womack, number 70, going down inside, and then Byron Bell, big right tackle, pushes the defensive line down inside, and a nice job by Antonio Andrews. Hey, he's a power runner. You can see the size, and that's what they want to do here tonight. Run that football well enough so when their quarterback wants to throw it, he has that extra time to get it down the field.
In his 2nd year out of Western Kentucky, Andrews grew up about 60 miles northwest of Nashville in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and here he goes again, this time for only about 3. He was Mr. Kentucky football in high school, but this was a college free agent, undrafted, after his career with the Hilltoppers.
Well, he fits what Mike Mularkey really wants in his football team. He goes, hey, guys, I want our whole team to play like our defense. It plays hard, physical, not out of control, but close, and he wants to see that from his offense. So you need a running back like Andrews to make those tough runs and get those extra yards.
Dexter McCluster now in the backfield. We'll call it 2nd and 8. Foster, quick hit on him. That is Odrick. The former Dolphin right on him.
One of the reasons why they brought him here is just for this, to stay. He's big, he's tough against the run, doesn't have great speed to get up the field and get after the quarterback, but man, they got some good run-stopping defensive linemen here in Jacksonville.
But how about the loss of Senderick Marks this past weekend, out for the year?
Yeah, it makes the interior defensive line a little thin, but the good thing is they still have Roy Miller, Alu, so they got depth there. That helps them get over the loss. 3rd and
12. Mariota goes underneath, but the Jags have it covered up. Good piece of tackling right there by Cyprien. Holds him to 3. Walker with the catch. So it looked like a promising start off the Andrews run, but then the Jag defense able to step up and make some plays. And back to return here, just off of IR, and he played early in the season. Rashad Green for Jacksonville. He had that designated to return tag, and he's back this week. Not able to field that one as it sails out of bounds at about the 14. 45-yard punt. Thursday Night Football brought to you by Bud Light. Make the right call, drink responsibly. And by McDonald's, teaming up with the NFL like never before. Just about 30 miles south of here, St. Augustine, the World Golf Hall of Fame. Jack Nicklaus, who saw Arnold Palmer's bust as well. Had a great pleasure spending time with Jack and Barbara Nicklaus yesterday for an Augusta special in the spring. What a football fan and a football family, with your grandson Nick O'Leary tied in on the Bills practice squad right now. He's going to develop one day into a fine NFL player. And Yeldon picks up a couple on that, his first carry of the game. Now look what Bortles has done year 1 to year 2, Phil. What do you see?
Well, I see a team that's gotten better, but I think that right now they hired a new offensive coordinator in Greg Olson. He was out with the Oakland Raiders last year, and this offense fits Blake Bortles' style. His ability, throwing it down the field. They make a lot of big plays. It's worked well so far this year.
3-step drop. Pass and a little slippage there. Thomas. And it's just a couple. Sunday at 9 on NFL Network. What does the future hold for Peyton and the Broncos? Plus a preview of Tony Romo's return to the Cowboys. Dallas down at Miami this Sunday. NFL Game Day Morning Live Sunday at 9, only on NFL Network. You referenced Greg Olson. There he is. We also thought the field, we were down checking out the field conditions. We had slippage there, but
yeah, the field was in great shape. They were both down there before the game. Tennessee does a lot of different looks on defense.
3rd and 6 from the pocket. Bortles heaves it. He's got his man. It's Walters all the way out to the 50.
Well, sometimes when you're trying to disguise your defense, it leads to trouble. And they're trying to give him a look. And watch Walters just go right down the seam. And Blake Bortles, that pocket starts to collapse a little bit, but he hangs in there tough and put that football right on the money. And that was a good example of Greg Olson's offense. Very few teams look down the field as much as the Jacksonville Jaguars. The one that comes to mind, the Arizona Cardinals.
That went for 31, and now they go to the ground. Yeldon busts right through an opening, thanks to the likes of Clay Harbor, and he tacks on another 15 yards for Jacksonville.
Well, you said it right. Clay Harbor is the guy that helps. He's going to come across the field, make the block, and then Yeldon follows it inside. Zane Beadles, the left guard, didn't even have anybody to block. Tennessee all washed down to the opposite side.
So here they were just a couple of plays ago, facing 3rd and 6 and a possible second consecutive 3 and out. Now they pick up 46 yards on the last 2 plays. Yeldon clogged up that time. Give him 1.
You know, Jim, last night we had a chance to talk to Terrell Casey, number 99, on defense, defensive tackle for the Tennessee Titans. And I never met a guy, he might be the most excited guy we've met all year to talk about playing in a night game. But they wanted to come into this game and show everybody how good they are on the defensive side, and especially, like he said, playing under the lights, nothing like it.
He said it just immediately feels a whole lot different. You walk on that field, you're under the lights. He also talked about trying to keep Bortles in the pocket. A lot of times you try to get a quarterback to move around, not in this case. 2nd and 8. And a short throw there to Brian Walters.
It's interesting how they said that. They're not like going to all out, just go after him, because they say that's when he is dangerous. And Jarrell Casey said something, gave him a lot of credit. He goes, man, he is a big, tough guy. He really respects Blake Bortles. But you're right. Be careful on the pass rush. Don't let him move sideways, because that's when he looks deep downfield for these speedy wide receivers.
Well, he's completed 4 so far, 2 to Walters, 2 to Thomas. Nothing so far has been thrown in the direction of Hearns nor Robinson. And that's Thomas with his 3rd catch. And it takes a while to ride him down. Zach Brown finally able to finish off the tackle, but the Jags again move the sticks. Gain of 12.
Couple things. Watch Blake Bortles step up in the pocket. Really nice job. And you see Thomas just runs through the coverage. And Thomas missed the first 6 games of the year. He's finally looks like he's trying to get back into the offense. Watching practice yesterday, a lot of footballs found their way to number 80.
I guess that's the way you say first down if you're a quarterback.
Green 80. Green is out.
And from the 19, it's Bortles. Just out of reach, trying to connect with the long-time 10-year tight end it is, Mercedes Lewis.
Oh, he had him. He had him maybe for a touchdown. And Mercedes Lewis beats the linebacker Avery Williamson. Watching number 89 go down the field, going out to the right. There's no deep coverage. Trying to anticipate the throw, Bortles does, and I think that's why he threw it behind him.
Brings up a 2nd and 10 from the red zone.
Green is out.
Yeldon. And run down to the 13 for 6. 3rd and 4 on the way here in the final 30 seconds of the first quarter. And the 10th play of this series coming up.
Well, we talked about it, Jim. A lot of good matchups for this Jacksonville offense. The wide receivers against the beat-up secondary, a quarterback that can move, and some good runs by Yeldon so far in this game.
We're just going to go ahead and let it run down to the close of the quarter. Tennessee field goal in the opening drive. The only points in quarter 1. Back after these messages. We're back for Thursday Night Football. The Skycam being presented by Mazda, Everbank Stadium. Here on what was it once the old Gator Bowl. The current version of the stadium opened back in '95, and Super Bowl 39 was played here. Eagles against the Patriots, with New England winning that one. 3rd and 4 for Jacksonville. Time for Bortles, but the option's not there. Now on the run, throws it away.
Well, just excellent coverage that time. Watch Blake Bortles looking to his left. Top of your screen. And the linebacker gets underneath, and excellent coverage. Parrish Cox, they're so happy to get him back. And as Blake Bortles gets out of the pocket, nobody able to escape the defender covering him. So Parrish Cox being back is a big deal for this Tennessee defense.
They had some good momentum going, and then they had like 30 seconds to work with. They elected just to go ahead and take it on the other side of the quarter break. Come out, nothing there. First play of the second quarter. Now the field goal try is drilled by Jason Myers from 31 yards out. 3-3. We're back here in Jacksonville. Did you ever think you'd see a day where you'd see a pool at an NFL stadium?
No.
And a lifeguard.
You got lifeguards. They hit golf shots here. They're doing everything to try to keep the fans excited. Well, I'll tell you how you keep the fans excited. find ways to win football games. That'll make them come.
That's kicked by Myers. Flies through the end zone. We talk about next gen. The next gen stats presented by Go 90. Let me interpret this one for you. Take a look now at Telvin Smith. We talked about how many times he's so active in all these tackles. His max speed for the year has reached over 21 miles an hour. It's the second fastest of all NFL linebackers. And his total yardage covered, you saw it.
Well,
he's all over the place, and he's moving quickly.
Yep, all over the place, plays every single down of the game. Him and Paul Posluszny, amazing. They play so hard and have such endurance.
Mariota, good play action, throws the defense, and it's rewarded with the throw to Delaney Walker.
Well, we talked about it in the opening. They want to find ways to do what? Get the ball to Dexter McCluster, and this guy coming across the field, Delaney Walker, nice job of watching the coverage go up the field, worried about the wide receivers, and he fit right into that open space, and nice throw by Mariota.
Yeah, a gain of 29 to Walker, the former 49er. Spent his first 7 years with the Niners. Third season here. David Cobb's coming at running back, the 5th-round pick out of Minnesota. Here he is, his first NFL carry. And it picks up a couple. Miller on the tackle. Let's go down. Tracy Wolfson, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Jim. Well, I'm down on the field, and you can see behind me the divots that have been made from some of the players slipping. There's a lot of pieces of grass all over the field, but right now it doesn't look to be too bad. It rained on and off all day, but they say no more rain, so we should be fine, but it is certainly something to keep an eye on throughout the game.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of times some players lose their footing. Mariota now has hit his last 5 passes. Got a 2nd and 8, and the streak comes to an end as he trying to connect with Green Beckham. On the series premiere of The Timeline, the moment Brett Favre walked away and the story behind his return to Green Bay. The Timeline, a new NFL Network original series, premieres December 3rd only on NFL Network.
You know, we talked about this situation for this offense tonight. You said it, Jim. Kendall Wright, Justin Hunter, both important wide receivers for the Tennessee Titans out of this game.
Here's a 3rd and 8. A lot of pressure, and it's knocked down. Oh, flag is out of first. Flag of the game is going to be on Aaron Colvin. Telvin Smith knocked down Mariota after he released it.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 27. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Actually called on Dwayne Gratz, as you heard from Craig Rolstad.
Well, there it is on the outside, Aaron Colvin.
Well, he said 27. I thought it was Colvin.
Yeah. He definitely grabbed him with both hands. Finally, Jacksonville comes on the blitz. They get to Mariota. Boy, it's a big hit.
Yeah, big second hit, too. Knocked the helmet off. Penalty, Phil, brings the football to the 44. They said 27, but it was on 22. Colvin is originally called. So the Titans, second time now in Jacksonville territory, and that's a run by Cobb for 1. Here you go, home versus away. Now this is a team that hasn't won a home game well before Mariota showed up in Nashville. 403 days ago, the last time Tennessee won at home. But look at his stats away from Nashville.
It's hard to explain. It's competition. It's game plans. You would think you'd always play better at home because of crowd noise and just being in familiar surroundings. 2nd
and 9 with pressure coming. He got it away quickly, and that's a first down grab by Dorial Green Beckham.
Yeah, they need him to come through. You know, he's a big wide receiver, kind of a controversial pick. 2nd round, 6'5", 237 pounds. And, you know, he's got the talent. but he's just got to realize that this league gets tough. You go against tough defensive backs every single week. Struggles on the outside getting away from press coverage.
He didn't have a catch last week against Carolina. Targeted twice. One of them was picked, but the week before, strong game down in New Orleans with 5 catches for 77. First down handle, and the Jags shut it down with David Cobb. Again, it's Miller making the play for that defense. Hey, in 2 weeks, Aaron Rodgers leads the Packers into a key NFC North showdown with Calvin Johnson and the Lions. Thursday Night Football, 2 weeks' time, Green Bay at Detroit, and that will be live on CBS and NFL Network. Of course, they just met on Sunday with the Lions finally winning after many years of failing to do so up at Lambeau Field. 2nd and 13. Getting a running start with that carry. It's Dexter McCluster.
Yeah, good job that time, but McCluster, you can tell they're going to do everything they can with him. Put him in motion, put him at wide receiver, and then every once in a while let him run it up inside. Nice block by the center, the rookie center, Andy Gallup.
You see, Bortles, we were talking about how Tennessee has done on the road. Well, Bortles and the Jags win. It was Bortles' first road win Sunday at Baltimore, and for the franchise, their first road victory since 2013. 3rd and 9, Tennessee. Mariota's pass was behind Green Beckham, who had a step on the defender, Gratz.
Yes, he did. The football a little off target this time, I think. Mariota just felt the pressure, thought maybe the blitz was going to get there. And a good job by Green Beckham selling it up the field against Gratz. But the football got there a little too quick for him.
Going to be a 49-yard field goal attempt for Suckup. He's already hit one from 47. Suckup delivers again. Hearn did a nice job building what was a little bit of a low snap. Suckup made 3 out of 3 here last December. He's hit 2 for 2 tonight. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Oikos 000, the official yogurt of the NFL. And by Lexus, with the Lexus December to Remember sales event here now through January 4th. The Main Street Bridge connecting downtown Jacksonville. It's a beautiful skyline here. The Jags having won the last 2 years on Thursday night, including defeating this very opponent in a game late in the season on this field in 2014. Suckup drives this one kind of low to Robinson, and no chance at another return. All field goals so far. It's 6-3 Tennessee. Well, Jacksonville, all 3 drives starting at its own 20 or worse. They're just happy to be back on the field here. They've had a stretch here away from this stadium about as long as you'll ever hear in the league. 1 game here since September the 20th. As Bortles steps up in the pocket, tucks it under. He's got an open field ahead of him, and he slides for a gain of about 13. Yeah, since beating Miami here early in the season, look at this. They've had a stretch where they played 5 road games. They were the home team in London, 1 true home game and 1 bye week.
Well, they're glad to be home, no question about that. And as we watch this game tonight, 2 things that have stood out to me. Tennessee not blitzing much. They think their front 4 can find a way to get to Blake Bortles. They have not got their wide receiver, Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson, in the game against the beat-up secondary of the Tennessee Titans.
Quick toss now. They've got a completion to Rashad Green. And a flag comes out. Green drafted in the 5th round out of Florida State. It was a thumb injury that sidelined him since early in the season.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 37. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run, automatic, first down.
You know, one thing about Jacksonville, they haven't had consecutive wins in a long time, couple of years, and trying to pull that off tonight. And there's Riggs reaching in and pulling them down. But if they could get on a little roll, they've got the second easiest schedule the rest of the season, second only to Kansas City. And this is the first in a stretch of 4 or 5 here at home. Nice piece of running by Yeldon. Down to about the 41 for 9 more for the rookie from Alabama. Here's what we're talking about. Consecutive games without back-to-back wins. And the Jacksonville streak goes back to early December in 2013.
Well, they're slowly building this team down here. They are getting close to being solid. They got a good defense. I've talked about that. It needs a little speed, especially going after the quarterback. And on the offensive side, they got the wide receivers. Julius Thomas at tight end. T.J. Yeldon, a good running back, and a good solid young quarterback.
2nd and 1.
There you go.
And that's about halfway there for Yeldon. If the Jags won this game tonight, and depending on what Indianapolis and Houston do this Sunday, if they both failed, Jacksonville could find itself by the end of the weekend tied for first in the division.
Well, that's the first thing we said to Gus Bradley. Hey, if you told your team, let's win this game, there's a chance that we could be tied for first. He says no. He said, we're just worried about this game, and then when the weekend's over, we'll go back to work and not really talk about the playoffs.
Well, you asked Mike Mularkey, what about you guys? You think you still we can kind of look at it from maybe taking a division? And he said, absolutely.
Absolutely. 2-7, they're thinking about what's ahead.
3rd and 1, and the ball was fumbled, and Tennessee falls on it. It's a recovery for the Titans, which should have been just a simple execution on a quarterback sneak. The ball comes out, and Bass has the recovery.
I thought for a second maybe they would rule forward progress was stopped, but Blake Bortles stuck the football out, got it away from his body, and it was knocked loose.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Tennessee. First down.
Yeah, at what point is that play ruled down?
No whistle stopped it. That's going to be a fumble.
Just listen, no whistle.
Well, the two guys they tried to run a quarterback sneak against, Jarrell Casey, Daquan Jones. Tough. We've already talked about Casey. Hard to move those guys backwards, even to pick up a half a yard.
Take the pass, the handoff instead to Andrews for a gain of 1. And Mike Carey, what did you see with that fumble a moment ago?
Yeah, I thought that was a very good call, and here's why. Bortles was pushing the ball forward. Still his forward progress is going forward. The ball came loose and came out and was recovered by Tennessee. A great call on the field.
I even think when he was trying to reach across with it, he was still short. You wonder what they would have done on 4th and inches. You got to think they would have gone for it. But instead, they cough it up. Belongs to Tennessee, 2nd and 9. And down the field, almost intercepted off the deflection. That pass going to Green Beckham. But the play made by Devon House.
Yeah, Devon House, really, he's the guy they put out there at corner, and they match him up a lot of times with the other team's best receiver. Not so much tonight because they're hurt. On the outside, Tennessee Titans are. But last week, 2 interceptions. Was benched for poor play for a little bit, but has come back and really played well. Baltimore did everything to him. Double moves, different types of plays, and he covered extremely well the whole game.
He was a Packer a year ago, came here as a free agent, 3rd and 9. And Mariota is passed just over the head of Walker. Cyprian running with him, and that'll force a Titan punt.
Well, they're just so limited what they can do on obvious passing situations. Little double move. Man, that's a nice job by Cyprian trying to make it up. Mariota a little careful with the football. Could have just lined it right in there and got to completion.
Brett Kern has had 19 punts down inside the 20. That was close to contact. And they're going to throw a flag. It definitely interfered with his vision for Walters. That was Cody Riggs, who was flagged just a short while ago with the face mask. And he's going to get a penalty here.
Personal foul, fair catch interference. Kicking team number 37. It's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the catch. First down, Jacksonville. Timeout.
Walters clearly signals. And that was interference.
The third pick with the second pick in the 2014 to 2015 NFL Draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans select quarterback Blake Bortles. Marcus Mariota.
The next generation of quarterbacks in the NFL. Two of them here tonight with the likes of Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater. Jameis Winston.
Well, you got to look at this AFC South. You see these two quarterbacks here tonight. Indianapolis with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, at the moment, these two have the most stable situations at quarterback in the division.
No question. Andrew Luck being hurt, of course.
That's Robinson. And the former Michigan quarterback takes a big jolt from Michael Griffin, but he's got a gain of 10.
Yeah, what a transition, for him. Again, good block across the field, but to be a quarterback, and I know he was a running quarterback at the University of Michigan, but make this transition, Jim, to an NFL running back says a lot about his talent and, of course, learning a new position and the toughness it takes to carry the football in this league.
Boy, there were times late last season where he peeled off some big games. 100-yard performances. Fake to Robinson, toss it instead with a good gain to Harper for another 10.
Well, they brought Clay Harbor across the formation a few times, and he's been blocking. So this time they're going to bring him out and fake the run and get a little short pass with it.
Is that a horse collar a little bit on that?
No, he got his hand out of the back of the jersey, and then watch it slide down and get near the numbers. Michael Griffin, the safety. Yep, got it off there right away. So over the years, you get called for enough of those, you learn how to get that hand out of there.
Where is Allen Hurns or Allen Robinson? The two standout receivers with 7 touchdown catches each. They have not been targeted in more than a quarter and a half in this game. Bortles. Now they have. That was a target for Robinson. And what a talent he is at the age of 22. Jarrell Casey helped force the throw, being off the mark.
I think you said one of the reasons why they have not been targeted is you look at those great numbers. It tells you about their downfield throwing. They have such a high average per catch. But Jarrell Casey helped on the quarterback sneak that was fumbled by Blake Bortles. He stopped some runs. He is all over the place and really forcing Bortles to throw the ball before he's ready.
2nd and 10. Little jump cut move. Robinson to the 46 of the Titans for 4. And even that last throw been tough for Bortles because he's got players all around him.
Well, the pocket is collapsing. Daquan Jones does it. Nobody open. He breaks outside, and for a beat-up secondary, they are all over these wide receivers.
This is a defense that got to Cam Newton last Sunday 5 times. Although the Panthers, of course, marched on to yet another victory, staying undefeated. 3rd and 5. Bortles got the first down. And that's Hurns with his first catch.
Well, they gave him what he wanted. You know, it was good pass protection, but Cody Sensabaugh that time played off on the outside. In other words, you gave Blake Bortles an easy throw. They've been up near the line of scrimmage almost the whole night and have done a great job of covering these guys down the sideline. Now you got Marquise Lee, number 11, wide receiver. They're happy to have him back in the backfield, so you got to look for some type of play that's going to go towards him.
First down, and look at this. Down the field, the pass is short. Walters, the one who threw it in the direction of Robinson.
Yeah, it's what they do. Marquise Lee goes in motion. Walters is going to come around, watch the receiver go down the field. He's open. Oh.
Man, that play was drawn up just as you hope. He even had the open target.
He got a little tight as he saw him open down the field, and that ball, his arm got tight, couldn't let it go.
Get that one chance, and all of a sudden, man, it's
a lot easier in practice, that's for sure.
2nd and 10. Shelton back in to the 34. And we've got another penalty marker on the field.
Holding. Offense, number 76. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay. 2nd down.
Luke Jokel called for that. Watch original NFL shows and catch what's trending around the league with the all-new NFL Now. Watch an NFL mobile on your connected TV devices or go to NFL.com/now.
Well, you said it earlier. Cam Newton got sacked 5 times by this defense of the Tennessee Titans. And tonight, they're just letting their front four most of the time go after the quarterback and giving that extra defensive player to help in coverage.
2nd and 20. Here they come again, getting all around Bortles and taking him down at the 45. That was Wesley Woodyard combining with Casey for the sack.
Well, he's playing here just like he did in Denver. 59 going to come this way. Gets in there and forces Bortles to step up, and then he spins off and gets the block. And the one thing about Wesley Woodyard, plays a lot of snaps, but he just has great hustle, tremendous energy. And of course, that helps his defense out quite a bit.
3rd and 26. Set up the screen. Can Yeldon get him in field goal range? Yeldon goes across the field, dives down at the 41. Which would make it about a 59-yard field goal if they'd elected to go that way. Picks up about 13. 4th down coming, and they're going to punt it.
Yeah, you punt it. You got the 2-minute warning. You got 3 timeouts. Back them up and see if you can make the stop and give your offense one more try before halftime.
See if Anger gets the job done. He's had 3 touchbacks on the year, but 15 down inside the 20. Angles this one. Definitely gets it done with the fair catch at the 5-yard line. Well, I kind of thought we might have a little bit of a offensive showdown going on here tonight.
I did too. I thought we were going to see the short week offenses. Everybody was pretty confident. But I got to give you the Tough Man Award tonight. You know that. Because you got a jacket on and it is really hot down here. So, but
let's pull that tie down. What do you say? Because I
tell you, we need to. But yeah, I'm a little surprised too, just because of the matchups in the game, especially for Jacksonville. I thought they were, their wide receiving core is so good, and I thought they were going to have a big night going against this Tennessee secondary, but not the case.
Go ahead, loosen the tie.
No, can't do it.
Well, you got the Tough Man Award then.
Well, maybe just not that smart.
1st and 10, and Jacksonville gets the tackle behind the line. Look at the play by Alu.
Well, it's pretty good when your backup is a former first-round pick. He's in there for Senderic Marks, and that's what you want to do. You want to get this 3 and out so you can get your offense one more shot at getting some points on the board before halftime.
Again, Jacksonville with 3 timeouts. They don't use one there. Second and 13 Titans. I'm sure they beat the play clock.
Delay game. Offense, number 8. The penalty's half the distance to goal. 2nd down.
Put them just outside of the 1. Coming up, the Lexus halftime report. JB, Dion, Coach Cowher. Their thoughts on the first half here in Jacksonville. We had a nice little visit down to the set on the pregame show.
Yeah, it was nice. I was a little underdressed. You know, they're all out there in all those new suits and everything. I just had an old sport coat, but a lot of fun to be with JB and Bill Cowher.
2-minute warning. 6-3 Tennessee. Coming up, the Lexus halftime report. JB, Dion, and Coach Cowher are going to break down the first half action. There's also going to be the Zone Charity Golf Shootout with a bunch of stars off the PGA Tour. Now from the end zone, Mariota lofts it incomplete. And now that saves Jacksonville a timeout on the incompletion. You kind of thought Jacksonville should have called a timeout on the north side of the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, but it wasn't a big deal, the fact that they let the last 20 seconds go off the clock because of the situation. And Tennessee knows that Jacksonville has the 3 timeouts, so that's why they elected to throw the football to try to change, to get that first down, of course, Jim, and not give great field position to Jacksonville.
Walker split wide to the left, and now McCluster comes to that side in a slot. 3rd and 14, complete, and ball's out. I don't think it was a completion.
No, it's going to be incomplete.
Evans runs it back just in case. It ruled incomplete on the field. Douglas was the receiver who didn't hold it long enough for it to be a catch.
All you have to do is watch.
Is an incomplete pass.
It's a bang-bang play, and that's why it's going to be incomplete.
Yeah, that's, we see so many that leave you wondering, but that was not enough there to be, by today's standards, ruled a catch.
Yeah, and everybody's always arguing, oh, watch the catch, we don't know. Look, they got to have these rolls. When you watch it full speed, catch, hit, fumble, or ball comes loose, incomplete.
It was Aaron Colvin who knocked it out of his hands. So now the Titans punt with 1:49 to go in the half. And there was contact, and a flag does come out. A flag in the end zone, and that return by Green to the 33.
Well, is it running into the kicker or a personal foul? I think it's running into the kicker.
Remember, it was 4th and 14.
Running in the kicker is 5 yards. Personal foul, automatic first down.
Well, the Tennessee offense is coming on. Actually, it's the punting unit that comes out.
Kicking team, number 37. That penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay, 4th down.
No, it wouldn't be. The penalty going against Jacksonville would not be half the distance to the goal. It would go the other way, the full distance. Just a little bit of contact. You know, that's an interesting piece of strategy here, though. If you're Tennessee, do you want to put your punter and your special teams through this again?
Well, I know that's always the thought, Jim, that, oh, they'll be tired from running down the first time. But, yeah, the field position.
No, the threat of a block.
Oh, the block, I see. No, I'm not thinking that. My gosh, as much as you practice this, I thought you meant the fatigue of chasing the punt down the field for the second time.
So all things can happen, but there's no real pressure on him this time. And definitely gets extended yardage out of it. Green comes to the near side, gets the edge, and a nice return to the Titans 49. Now again, they have 1:26 left in the half, Phil, and all three timeouts. In honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league's donating $1,000 to its nonprofit partners. Pat Tillman Foundation, USO Wounded Warrior Project. Join the salute, NFL.com/salute. All right, the quarterbacks so far in this game, they both have thrown it 14 times. 7 completions for Marcus, 9 for Blake. Yardage about the same. That penalty, by the way, on Jacksonville, the running into the kicker, cost them about 16 yards in the end. As Kern let loose a good punt from the 50. And going for the deep ball. Robinson jumps up and grabs it. Allen Robinson's first catch of the night, and it's a big one for 38 yards.
Really good job that time, Blake Bortles. It's a blitz, and he gets protection. Watch the 5 guys coming. Robinson goes right down the inside. He beats him off the line of scrimmage. That's how he gets open. Nice job by Blake Bortles, picking out the matchup that favored him.
Longest play of the game so far. Robinson able to somehow squeeze out another 3 yards, and Stafford never backed off the play and slams him down, but they'll give him a 6-yard pickup.
Well, timeout by Jacksonville there. Plenty of time. Time not an issue, Jim. 7-yard line. 44 seconds and 2 timeouts. Boy, really good job by Robinson off the line of scrimmage. You always hear that about, I heard it all my career from the wide receiver coaches. You win the battle at the line of scrimmage. And Sensabaugh thought maybe there was going to be somebody inside the safety down the field, but he couldn't get there quick enough because Robinson did such a good job getting wide open.
Tom Coughlin was a wide receiver coach when you were playing at the Giants. Of course, later became the first ever head coach here in Jacksonville and did big things, including getting to the AFC Championship game on this field back in '99 against Tennessee, with the Titans winning it and advancing on to the Super Bowl. Second and 5, we'll call it. Robinson with that big pass play. He has more catches for 20-plus yardage than any other wideout in the league this year. That was his 18th. Robinson again. To the 5, it'll be 3rd and 3, and another timeout by the Jags. They have one. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Mark Brunell to Kyle Brady. Early lead for Jacksonville, but the Titans came back thanks to a safety, a Derek Mason kick return touchdown, and a couple of Steve McNair touchdown rushes.
A lot of similarities between that Tennessee team there and here on the defensive side. Just a big, dominating defensive front. And I'll look back to that last play, Jim, just that draw play to Denard Robinson. Very careful and conservative back Greg Olsen. You know they're going to probably play man-to-man coverage. You can move the formations, cross your receivers. You can make it tough on the defense.
Watch the man at the top of the screen, Robinson. He's a big target. And he's just got one-on-one coverage. He just got him down here with the 38-yard catch and run. Bortles, will he look his way? No, he's in trouble. And he's thrown down at the 16 by Orakpo.
Well, the coverage, I thought maybe he could fire that football in. They're trying to go underneath to Allen Hurns, and Orakpo does a good job just staying with it and finally overpowers Luke Jokel. Right here, watch it. Can you stuck it in there? I think so.
Timeout, by the way, called by the Titans with 35 seconds remaining.
That's where if you'd have seen a veteran quarterback, Jim, he would have taken that shot and thrown it in there to Hurns and not thought anything about it. Mike Mularkey trying to save some time for his team.
Once he knows they've made the stop and they forced him into a field goal situation, he says, just in case, that gives us 2 timeouts maybe to do something in the last 30 seconds. So he takes his first of the half, and Myers is back out for the second time for a 32-yarder. And Myers matches Suckup on the other side, each with 2 field goals. Six with 31 seconds to go in the half. This youth movement, young quarterbacks to start games this season. Winston, Mariota, 1-2 out of the draft. Of course, Manziel coming into the league a year ago, been announced the starter for the rest of the season for Cleveland. Bridgewater and the Vikings are on a roll, lead their division. And there's Bortles, also under the age of 24.
Yeah, we got a good mix of some veterans that are playing very well in the league, guys that have been around a long time, and of course, You know, you always say, oh, there's just not enough quarterbacks to go around. But you saw that list. A lot of good young quarterbacks who are just going to get better.
Well, when the draft begins with quarterback, picks 1 and 2 will always be linked. And, you know, so far, just around the midway point of the season,
yeah,
these two, this is what they've done.
The personal numbers for Mariota are better than Jameis Winston, but Jameis Winston is a different type of player. He's an aggressive thrower, takes chances down the field, and I think even though his numbers they're great for a rookie, but I think he's played very well for Tampa Bay.
There's a kick that soars right through the back of the end zone. Well, at least at Tennessee, they had, since 2006, they had gone quarterback in the first round 2 other times, and they didn't work out for various reasons. Just didn't work out for Vince Young back in 06, and then, of course, Jake Locker was never healthy. He was another first-round pick, but yeah, Mariota, as Coach Malarkey said to us last night, he gives us a chance for the whole game.
Look, when you draft a quarterback in the first round, it's the organization's, it's their job to bring him along with the coaching staff and make sure it works. A lot of times the young quarterbacks drafted high, they have no chance. The team is in disarray, organization is, and that's why they fail.
And Mariota slides over to his right side and connects with Douglas for a gain of about 10. Yeah, you talk about all the upheaval. They made that change a couple of weeks ago. Ken Wisenhunt only got 23 games, a little less than a year and a half to try to put in his vision here with the Titans. Ball tip and caught on the rebound by Walker. Boy, Walker's the king of these tips. Remember the one he had that went for a touchdown against New Orleans 2 weeks ago?
That's right. Risky throw by Marcus Mariota. Fasano in the middle. What a break by Telvin Smith. That could have been a big game changer. You know, when you're in that situation, he's going to learn. Mariota's a very careful thrower, I think, Jim. He doesn't try to force the football into tight coverage. Got very fortunate and lucky with the tip to Delaney Walker.
4th catch for Walker for 70. He's got 70 of the 131 total yards by the Titans.
Well, that was the guy that Jacksonville put the jersey on yesterday all day in practice. They knew he'd be a big target. But his talent, pretty good. Hard to stop him.
Now with 17 seconds. Mariota overthrows his man. No, there's a flag out. Flag. There was contact by the Jaguars on Douglas.
It's a good call.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 27. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So not pass interference, which would have been a big one in this case. 5 yards.
Well, the holding is right there at the line of scrimmage. I thought he also right here was grabbing the jersey. And the one thing you see about Green Beckham, you talked about the interception last week. It's fast. You know, the quarterback only has so long. You got to get out of those cuts and get that head turned around.
Just 12 seconds. They're blitzing in traffic. Mariota still on his feet. Now he's taken down at the 50. Telvin Smith again makes the tackle along with Ryan Davis.
Yeah, Ryan Davis getting in there, sometimes comes in, takes the place of Chris Clemens on the outside. He's not a line. You look at him and say, oh, that's a big linebacker. No, he's a defensive lineman. And sees most of his action in obvious passing situations.
So the Titans called the timeout with 6 seconds to go.
Well, that was a good timeout. Good thinking. What you want to do, buy time for the quarterback. 6 seconds. You do have time if you can get rid of it quick, maybe to catch something 7 or 8 yards down the field and get out of bounds. If that's not what you're going to try to do, then find a way to throw it into the end zone.
Now the timeout's called by the Jags.
Well, that's a Gus Bradley, Bob Babbitt's the defensive coordinator, going to go over the situation and tell the defensive players, you know, just what we talked about and be alert for that.
Well, the Titans just so thin at wideout. You mentioned Jason Hunter. They had to go on injured reserve with the ankle injury. Kendall Wright just not ready yet. He's going to come back at some point, maybe after this mini bye coming up, but he's out with a knee. So you're left with an 8-year veteran in Douglas, smart player. But then you got a rookie still learning the system in Dorial, Green Beckham, Rico Richardson, who hasn't made a catch this season. They just brought up Trey McBride. They are thin. That's why you're seeing so much of Walker, who's been their top target after all season. Now look at the defense, protecting the edges as they'll give him the middle of the field. And that's Walker. And time has run out.
Well, that's why he changed. That's why Gus Bradley called the timeout, to make sure that they made him throw the football inside and don't let him give him a short pass and try to get the field goal. But look at the outside. That's what you do. You got 4 people deep. See this a lot now in the league. Situational football, really well done by Jacksonville.
They give Walker the yardage and pads the numbers up to 87 for the first half, 17 on that play. But we've come to halftime, all tied. We go to Tracy.
Thanks a lot, Jim. And Coach, Blake Bortles under pressure all night so far. How do you protect him better in the second half?
Well, we got to look at our protection issues. You're right. We had a couple opportunities, 2 times inside the 15, 2 red zone opportunities, came away with 6 points. We need to get some touchdowns.
The Allens, just 2 catches, 3 targets. How do you get them more involved?
Well, it starts with protection. We can protect better. We can throw more downfield routes, get those guys involved.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Jim.
First half is over. Not a touchdown to be found. 6-6 is the score. Back with the Lexus halftime report after these messages. And you're watching Thursday Night Football. Getting set now for the third quarter in Jacksonville. 2 suck-up field goals and 2 as well, of course, coming right back by Myers, and we're 6-6. And Phil, you're guaranteeing the fireworks are about to come now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to guarantee it. That's what everybody wants. It's kind of what we thought and expected. And if you listen to Dion and Coach Cower, they want to see some fireworks.
Sure.
But, you know, before you can execute all these great things down the field, what do you got to have first? It's pass protection.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a problem for Jacksonville, and they're getting overpowered. And I think Blake Bortles feels it. That's why he's not throwing down the ball down the field as much as we expect him to.
Here are the first half numbers. Wide receiver yardage in this game. Only 26 for Tennessee. And again, Jacksonville with the big play, 38 yards to Robinson, a total of 82. So we're going to have the football kicked here in a moment to the Jags. But first, we're going to go down to Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. Mike Mularkey told me it was just not good enough, their offense in the first half. He challenged his offensive line to protect better. He said there were draw plays that they couldn't even handle. The run game, he said, needs to get going in the second half, Jim.
Well, the running game managed just 20 yards in that first half on 13 carries, 13 for 20.
Well, you know, Jim, they are going against the #1 defense in the NFL when it comes to yards per carry. That's Jacksonville's defense. So to think you're going to line up and just keep smashing the football in there, I don't think that's going to happen.
It's a little surprising, but that's true. 3.3 yards. That's all they allow the opponent. That's the best in the league, that defense. In that category. So Ryan Suckup, who was the last pick of the 2009 draft, Mr. Irrelevant back then, he's certainly been relevant so far in this one. And he gets a touchback, setting up Bortles and the Jags at the 20.
And I think the big thing here is you watch this second half is this Jacksonville offensive line also. Can they just give Blake Bortles another half a beat to throw the football down the field? Again, Tennessee's defensive front 7, it's one of the top 5, I think, in the NFL. They're not blitzing much. They're using those 4 pass rushers to push the pocket, to unsettle Blake Bortles.
Mike's 5'9".
One of the reasons why they only got 6 points here in the first half.
Green is out.
Fake to Yeldon. Bortles is looking long, instead goes underneath. And it's Thomas. Just a 3-yard catch. Arakpo in on the hit.
Well, you know, listen, they had some good protection that time, and I thought that maybe Blake Bortles was going to go down the field. Watch the double move. It has a chance to get, well, gets behind the safety. The backside corner reads it. He's coming over.
Got a Rakpo down on the field. Hurt on the tackle, on making the tackle.
He had 6 sacks this year coming into this game, and he does a little bit of everything for this defense. Big free agent signing. Drops in coverage.
Yeah, they went out and gave him a big contract, and he had a couple of serious injuries, pectoral tears that ended a couple of seasons for him in Washington.
Yeah, that would concern you, but I know this. They're happy with him. And, you know, when you play a defense like this in Tennessee, Ray Horton, the defensive coordinator, they do so much stuff. I asked Ray Horton this just about their defense and even bringing in Brian Arakpo here. Short week, what do you do? He goes, look, we have so many plays on a defensive call sheet that this short week is not a big deal. You know, we can be ready for it because we practice and do so much during training camp.
2nd and 7. Yeldon with his 7th carry of the night for 35 yards. He's the 2nd leading rookie rusher in the league behind Gurley.
Well, pretty good when you can draft a running back like Yeldon. He comes in, 2nd-round draft pick, and he can play all 3 downs, Jim. That's what's really impressive, what he does. And, of course, he went to the University of Alabama. Pretty much a pro-style offense, so it made the transition, running and pass blocking, pretty easy for him.
Hey, hold to 39, green 80. Green and shot.
3rd and 5 play for the Jags. Toss it over to Yeldon. Makes the move he had to make to get the first down out to the 34. By the way, Arakpo came right back and was on the field for that play after sitting out 1. Gain of 9.
Well, good job that time. It's a blitz. Nobody has the back coming out of the backfield. Great job by Blake Bortles recognizing that and getting rid of the football quick. When you're a blitzing team, you got to make sure you cover all the bases. That time, nobody on TJ Yeldon.
Fortunate to get even a yard out of it. As we've told you, Arakpo is one of those mic'd up tonight. Let's see some of the things he's had to say.
Taunting, number 99, after the play. That 15-yard penalty is an automatic first down.
You saw Arakpo help force that fumble, but while we were showing you that, that was truly a late flag. It was on Jarrell Casey. Personal foul penalty
for taunting. Number 99 talking to TJ Yeldon. Yep.
Green 80. Green is shot.
It's a football to the 50. And now Bortles backpedaling to the 40. And players were tangled there. We do have a flag back where Bortles released the pass.
Holding. Offense. Number 89. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Well, Mercedes Lewis, the tight end, I think as we watch this, you kind of realize why the passing game is just not going the way the Jacksonville Jaguars wanted to. This front, we said it many times, and you have Mercedes Lewis in pass protection, hard to hold up as a tight end against a big defensive front like Tennessee has.
Bortles has been the most blitzed quarterback. Blitzed more often than any other QB in the league. This time we're down, and he's able to hit the strike. That's Robinson with another big gainer, his 2nd catch of the night. This one good for 20.
Well, really good job by Robinson. He gets inside, and Blake Bortles makes his best throw of the night. Cody Sensabaugh read it, tried to come underneath it, because Bortles put a little extra steam on this one. Really set back on his back foot. That's his best throw, and really put the power in the throw and put it right on the money.
And sends the ball in on the coverage. He's in the lineup because of Jason McCourty's injury, season-ending groin injury from last week. There's Yeldon into the secondary. And it sends the ball there on the tackle after 9. Nice block by Harbor.
It's been their best running play of the night. Harbor's going to come across, get the block, and then watch the left guard, Zane Petals. Those two, they've done it twice, and both times it's freed T.J. Yeldon.
So Bortles has hit his last 6 throws. Look at that opening for Yeldon.
What a difference watching Blake Bortles this year just in person compared to what I saw last year. So much more relaxed. And being relaxed and just having experience truly does help you throw the football better.
2nd and 1. Here they come, and he spins around away from the pressure and picks up the first with the short toss to Harbor.
Well, Justin Staples comes free. Man, how about that? That is really some good job by Blake Bortles. Just takes his time. Oh, let me just reverse out. You see this so much by all quarterbacks, even ones not as mobile as Blake Bortles. But the #1 job, Jim, we said early, you talked about it, keep him in the pocket, make him throw into tight coverage to beat us. Bad job of the Tennessee defense there.
First down at the Titans 24. Yeldon for no gain. You know, so much was said during Bortles' rookie year about how he reminded a lot of people of Ben Roethlisberger. But when we talk about this issue to Gus Bradley, says, no, I think it's not Roethlisberger, it's Brett Favre he reminds me of.
Wow, I tell you, it caught me by surprise. And I'm sure he liked a lot of things about Brett Favre. Of course, moving.
Green 80.
His presence on the field.
Green is out.
2nd and 10. Bootleg and pass. It is a catch by Robinson right on the sideline for 18.
They run these routes a lot. Of course, when you got a mobile quarterback, you want to get him outside. Robinson got both hands underneath the football. That's a catch. Well, that was a good job by Blake Bortles, too. He looked at 2 other receivers before he looked at Robinson.
Green 80.
They recovered. Small window, but he got it in there.
No challenge flag. 1st and goal. And Robinson darts ahead to the 2.
Boy, that was a power run inside. I'll tell you, A.J. Cann, the rookie right guard, gets a little movement on Daquan Jones, and the small running back used that speed to create power.
They changed the pace of it here. They go hurry up. 2nd and goal, and Robinson. And the collision about a yard beyond the line of scrimmage. Woodyard the first to get to him.
Yep, Woodyard and Williamson, the 2 linebackers. We've talked about them. They're always in there. They play just about every single play. And
you know, they got down in the late 2nd quarter inside the 10. They ran it a couple of times, and things went wrong, and they've run it the first 2 times here, getting it close, but 2 yards out, 3rd and goal. Robinson at the top, to the ground again. And it's Denard Robinson, and the crowd's not happy with that call.
They should be unhappy. Just not enough deception. We're talking about this defensive front. And Arakpo, 98, gets inside. He's just too fast for Mercedes Lewis, and he gets to tackle in the backfield. So when you get inside to be a good red zone offense, Jim, of course you need players. But you need to be deceptive, move people, stack the wide receivers, make it hard on the defense. Hard to just get in there and try to run it over Tennessee's defensive front.
Well, you see Arakpo for the 2nd time on this drive. He's down on the field. And before Myers attempts a field goal, while they look after Arakpo, we'll step aside. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the NFL. And by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. So Arakpo headed over to the sideline, to the bench. He got hit in the ribs by his own teammate. He got a field goal try 20 yards out. Jason Myers for the third time tonight.
Well, you got a mobile quarterback. You're loaded at wide receiver. You got tight ends, and got to second guess some of the play calling down inside the 10. Look at this shot to Arakpo's stomach.
First lead of the night for the Jags. Well, just like Tennessee opening the game, the start of the second half begins with a Jacksonville drive that took a lot of time. 6 minutes, 50 seconds. And like the Titans, all they got out of that was a field goal. Myers hasn't allowed a return tonight until this point with McCluster. And he's twisted down at the 19. We immediately send it back to you, Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. Brian Arakpo, just an update on him. I watched him as he walked off the field. He was kind of motioning like he did take that helmet to the chest area, like he just caught his breath a little bit. The trainers, after he sat down, didn't even pay attention to him. I think he just needed to catch his breath. Looks like he'll be good to go. Jim?
He's showing his teammate, Derek Morgan, where he got hit by Woodyard. And now Mariota hasn't thrown a pass in real time in over 30 minutes. And down he goes at the 11. They blitz, they guess right, and Colvin, the one who knocks him down.
Yeah, but what causes it, Roy Miller comes inside. They're pretty good at this, doing little twists and games inside. That's how Jacksonville gets pressure on the quarterback, moving their defensive linemen and blitzing. If they just line up and come after you, they don't have that speed to get to the QB, but a good changeup caught Tennessee off guard.
Sets him back 7 yards. Second and 17. Quick toss, McCluster. Got a good block up ahead. Some hit just across the 20. And McCluster is shaken up after 9.
Little blocking down the field, screen to McCluster, took a big hit.
And the block up ahead was by Walker, but the concern now is what happened to McCluster. McCluster hit low, shaken up, now on the sideline as a 3rd and long. Has arrived here for the Titans. And the crowd has arrived too on this snap right here. Pass, caught, fighting for it. What an effort that time. That's Fasano, and they give him the spot for the first down.
Well, they draw the shoot play, Jim. In other words, sprint the quarterback to the right, and Fasano comes all the way across the field. This is going to be close. Wow, he keeps his whole body, it looks like, off the ground. That's a pretty good spot.
You could even see him almost like hyperextending his legs so to make sure the knee didn't make contact and be able to get that ball stretched out. He got the first.
I was thinking as I saw Mariota sprinting to the right, I go, boy, this really shortens the field. But they did that for a reason to sneak Fasano across.
Andrews is the running back. McCluster, of course, shaken up. We've seen some of David Cobb. Bishop Sankey, by the way, inactive tonight. Good time to throw here for Mariota. And that draws a flag on the secondary of Jacksonville.
Pass interference. Defense, number 31. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Called on House. Week 11 of the NFL season continues Sunday on CBS and Fox. This is the next broadcast window, including the likes of Oakland against the Lions, Indianapolis with Hasselbeck taking on the Falcons, the Broncos with Osweiler in Chicago. What a job John Fox has done. Turn that season around. We saw him at 0-3.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be a long, painful year for the Bears, but they have turned it around.
First down, play action. Sidestepping the pressure, stepping up on the run. Mariota's pass off the hand, but another flag. Again, it was Douglas, the target, and again, Jacksonville's secondary is going to be flagged.
Well, they're mixing up the play selection very well. Got to give a lot of credit to Jason Michael, the offensive coordinator.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. The ball we placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Aaron Colvin here.
Well, it just took so long, and I think that's why at the last, that's a pretty tough call, though, Jim, when you see that. He put his hand up there, but it doesn't really slow the receiver down or impede his progress. The call was made from a long way away, too. But first and foremost, Mariota, excellent job getting out of the pocket and giving his receiver a chance down the field.
It ends up picking up 33 yards off the penalty. And now set up at the Jacksonville 23. All kinds of time, and back of the end zone and beyond to Walker. And Walker is down. Walker ran into the wall.
Well, it was a play they ran earlier where they hit Delaney Walker. And this time, Jacksonville all over it.
But the concern here is what kind of impact did Walker have? Well, first he landed on the area off the grass field. Not really any major contact with the wall. But that was a vicious hit for his head. He hit the ground. This drive really aided by all these penalties on the secondary. This is the deepest that Tennessee has advanced on the night. They're at the 23. Now, they did not once last week run a play inside the 20 of Carolina. Never got in the red zone. Their one touchdown was from outside the 20 by McCluster. We got, again, a stoppage of play here. See, Walker is back in the game. See him on the left side of the line.
Yeah, I think they might make him leave since when, Gus Bradley was telling the officials, you are hurt, they stop play for you. You have to sit out one play or they got to use a timeout to get you back in the game.
Last play, he must sit out at least one play.
So Walker, while we were away, he may have seen it. He was just about to get to his feet, and he walked as if he was unaffected, but he has to sit out a play. So
that's right.
Malarkey cannot reinsert him.
Yeah, what I'm saying is Gus Bradley, I think, is the one that was trying to get the officials' attention to let him know he shouldn't have been in the game.
2nd and 10. Mariota has it. Mariota inside the 10, reaches for the pylon, and they're looking. He's got it. Touchdown, Tennessee. What a fake by Marcus Mariota.
Well, what a fake and what speed. That's all you can say. Mike Malarkey says this guy can really run, and they want him to do it more when he's a drop-back quarterback. But he comes nice fake inside. Nobody sees it. Telvin Smith can't get there.
A block right there by Supernall.
Very good down the field. Allows Mariota to get in there.
Oh, he went right to our pylon camera, didn't he? Looks like he knocked it out. We've got a touchdown at last.
Well, that's what a drive. Of course, aided by those pass interference calls, but the third down screen across the field to Fasano, where he reached out, kept this drive going.
Second extra point is good. Mariota with the longest run of his rookie season results in a touchdown, and the Titans are back on top. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by the all-new Mazda CX-3. Mazda, driving matters. Turned out to be a beautiful night here in Jacksonville. After threatening and showery skies all day long, it is humid.
Yeah. You like it humid.
Why not?
It's a great night. Yeah, feels good.
All right, Bortles and company will be back operating at the 20. That was not only the longest run by Mariota this rookie season, 23 yards. It's the longest touchdown run by any quarterback this year in the league.
That's amazing. Wouldn't have thought that, you know, with all the guys that can run in this league now. But I look back at that drive, the third down conversion, the 2 pass interference calls, Jim. You know, Jacksonville puts a lot of pressure on their corners. They play the same style defense that the Seattle Seahawks do. They got great corners out there and a pass rush. Not quite the same here in Jacksonville.
Green 80. Green is up.
Bortles. Pass, and he's got Burns now with his second catch of the night. Let's go over to Tracy.
Jim, an update on Titans running back Dexter McCluster. I was right there when he landed on that right knee. He grabbed it immediately. He's on the sideline, tried to do some running. I was told his return is questionable, but I would be very surprised if he goes back in there, Jim.
All right, thanks, Tracy. And he's still working it over there.
Yeah.
How about you? Your longest touchdown run of your career?
I think it was like 83. I'm not sure.
No, actually, it's 83 off of 100. It was 17.
Oh, it was
17.
Okay. Well, I knew there was something in there. I just took a wild guess.
Felt like 100. Or, you know,
that's right. Right, my rookie year.
83. Second down pass, complete to Yeldon for the first. In 2 weeks, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers will take on Calvin Johnson and the Lions. This is figures to be, you know, for the Packers. They've been sideways here lately, and it's the rematch of what happened on Sunday that came down to the wire. Again, that's on CBS and NFL Network. 2 weeks. Green Bay at Detroit.
Green is up.
First down run, Yeldon. Talking about Aaron Rodgers, that game we have in a couple of weeks. Blake Bortles had a chance to visit a little bit with Aaron in Southern California during the summer.
Yeah, I'm sure he ran into him, picked his brain a little bit about, you know, what he does probably to prepare, to get ready for games. And, you know, that's what you do as a young quarterback. You seek the advice of guys that have been in the league a while and have had great success.
And by the way, Arakpo, as you see, Bortles has hit his last 10 passes. Arakpo's back on the field. That's right off the back of the leg of A.J. Cann, the rookie right guard. The rookie who's come right out starting, drafted in the 3rd round.
Well, it looked like they were trying to set a screen up. I could not see if T.J. Yeldon was in there, but apparently he was, because no intentional grounding against Blake Bortles.
And that incompletion ends his streak at 10, which matched his longest completion streak in his first year and a half in the league. 3rd and 5. Here come the Titans, bringing 6. Knocked down, intended for Hearns. That's Sensabaugh with the knockdown, defending that pass.
Ray Horton really proud of his corners. Sensabaugh and this week Parrish Cox, they were glad to get him back because situations just like that, they can be aggressive on the defensive side. So the same as Jacksonville, you got to have guys that can make one-on-one plays outside. And that time Cody Sensabaugh got it done.
So with McCluster out, Harry Douglas comes in as the returner. And angered the punt here as they try to set up return, applying no pressure. Douglas ridden down at the 21. We do have a flag down. Hayes Pullard the 3rd on the special teams tackle.
During the kick, holding, return team number 89. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
Called on Super Gnaw. That'll back up the Titans to about the 10-yard line. Next, let's take a look here at Gen Stats, presented by Go 90.
Well, Delaney Walker has been the main weapon in the pass game, no question. Nice play fake, get him up the seam. And if you go into the game, you know he's your best receiver. What do? You move him around the field, give him a lot of different options. And, you know, Jim, you got to say that Tennessee, the wide receiver position, so beat up. They've really done a good job of just trying to move the quarterback around, trying to give some different plays. It's worked well for them to have the lead right now.
Yeah, that 5-catch, 87 yards, all in the first half. We got 3 minutes to go in the third. He's out on the field as Walker, but the give is to Andrews, stacked up at the 13. It's got to be a fascinating night for Mike Mularkey. Here he was, the coach of Jacksonville back in 2012, and all kinds of things went wrong. He only got a year. And they had the ownership change. They had just a rash of injuries. 22 players ended up on injured reserve. They lost 3 games in overtime, and boom, he was done. 2-14. Never had a chance to fully apply what his vision was of trying to change things here in Jacksonville, then replaced by Gus Bradley.
Well, he tried to change practice schedules, a little of culture, wants the team to be more physical, especially on the offensive side.
Mariota still has it on 2nd and 5, and dangerous throw. Going for Douglas. So Mularkey actually still has his main residence here. He says he's going to come back. He's going to retire here when it's all said and done. Head coaching career up at Buffalo for 2 years. Had a 9-7 season one of those years. Just missed out on the playoffs. And a win so far as the interim, winning in his debut at Tennessee and that overtime thriller at New Orleans. Former tight end in the league for 9 seasons with Minnesota and Pittsburgh, where he learned under the ranks of Bud Grant and Chuck Noll. His team has 3rd down, 3rd and 5. Mariota, he's going to run for it. He's going to get it, and he slides across the 20.
There you go. That's what he should have done. And this is something he's going to get much better at as time goes on. He's so intent on watching the receivers down the field. Look, everybody's covered, and he waits, and then finally goes, hey, there's nobody there. And, you know, the instincts, the repetition in this league.
It's a big first down. I mean, this drive, back at the 8-yard line, it began after the penalty on the special teams.
Like I said, this coaching staff, they'd like to see him take off and run more on these passing downs, just like he did that time.
To Andrews for 3. And Tracy, down to you.
Jim, after that last offensive drive, Blake Bortles ran directly into the locker room. That's where he remains. It could just be a bathroom break. I don't know yet. I haven't gotten any information. But Chad Henne is on the sideline right now warming up, Jim.
Well, Chad Henne, who's been the backup here for a number of years since coming over from Miami, actually back in 2012, his 4th year here. Titans have a 2nd and 7. With 12 for the first down. And that is Supernaw, Philip Supernaw.
Yeah, that was a good shot. They moved Delaney Walker across the field, and just Mariota, how quick, just watch how quick he could get rid of the football. I mean, it might be one of the most compact motions in the NFL.
And that's his first catch of the season. Final 30 seconds of quarter 3. Andrews able to break away, and across the 50 he goes to the Jacksonville 43. That's going to run out time in the 3rd quarter.
Well, they've stayed patient. And that run, Joe Looney, the left guard, comes around, gets a good block, and staying patient with the run, starting to pay off.
Now that's a 26-yard run. 13-9 Tennessee after 3 quarters in Jacksonville. Tonight's Next Gen Stats are brought to you by Go 90. Watch the NFL on the go with Go 90. Go 90 to watch, cut, and share all the awesome. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, Lance Barrow, Mike Arnold, and the crew on hand here. Thursday Night Football, fourth quarter about to commence. 13-9 lead Titans. It's down from the Jacksonville side of the field, and they'll take whatever they can get. And they implore Fowler to get up. You weren't touched. So the fullback gets hold of it. His third catch of the season, goes for 3.
Well, what we've seen from Tennessee, just what they told us they were going to do. We started the broadcast out. Their first and foremost thought to make sure that their quarterback didn't take a beating down here tonight. Worried about their offensive line. But they've moved me around. The play calling has been very good.
It's Andrews. Give him another 4. Can't imagine McCluster limping around like that. We're going to see any more from him tonight. So Andrews is up to 62 yards on 10 carries. In fact, he's hitched his own ride here.
Well, I thought he would have a big key to this game tonight, Jim. Look what he's done this year.
Crowd gets a little into it here at 3rd and 4, urging the defense to get this Tennessee team off the field. Again, keeping it. Mariota, can he beat him again on the run? No, a good piece of tackling. Cyprian comes up. It's a 3-yard gain, forcing 4th down.
Well, Cyprian, very good. He's very aggressive, good safety, can make tackles. Here's the question, though, right here, 4th down and short, about 2 yards. Mike Mularkey looks like he's going to go for it.
Did you see the block by Walker on Posluszny?
Yep, turned around, got him.
Look at this. 4th and 2, they're going to go for it here from the 35. Decide not to go with the 53-yard field goal attempt. And now the timeout is called by Tennessee. During warm-up, Suckup was making them with ease from about 55 in this direction. Now Bortles is coming back out.
Well, it's interesting. Good thing for Jacksonville. Bortles is fine, but Mike Mularkey rethinking the situation.
He's going to go field goal here.
Yes. And, you know, you look at it, you said it. We were down the field before the game. The field, I thought, was in great shape. It's such a warm, humid night. The football is going to carry. Distance will be no problem at all from this spot.
It is going to be 53 yards, which would be his longest of the season by a couple. Trying to put the Titans up 7 here. A couple of minutes into the 4th quarter. Brinkley to snap it. Kern on the hold, and the kick is wayward for Suckup. And the Jags will take over at the 43. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Tostitos Chips and Dips. Bring the party. And by Bose. Music deserves Bose. Hey, a nod to Coach Wiley of Raines High School here in Jacksonville. His Vikings are ranked #1 in the state. And they play crosstown rival Bowles High School tomorrow night in the 2nd round of the state playoffs. Bortles is back in action. Marquise Lee is at the near side. He has not been targeted tonight. There's a quick pass to Robinson for 9, almost 10. Let's get the report on what was the deal with Bortles. Tracy?
It looks as though Blake Bortles was dealing with dehydration. That's why he spent a good amount of that drive in the locker room, most likely getting an IV, but he is back out here, as you can see. Good to go, Jim.
Okay. That pass puts him over 200 for the night. Now he has a streak going. He has thrown for at least 1 touchdown every game this season. And over the last 5 games, he's had at least 2 touchdown passes. Every single game. And so far, only 3 field goals for the Jags as Bortles gets crushed by a couple of Titans back at the 48, including Casey.
Well, what they do, Tennessee, they love the blitz. Here it comes this time around the side. It comes free, makes Blake Bortles step up. Zach Brown gets the pressure. When the quarterback moves, offensive line not ready for it. That's why he took the sack.
Third sack of the game by the Tennessee defense.
Green 80. Hey, Fitz.
Casey in on that last play. There he is. He's always had good success against Jacksonville. 2nd and 14. And with the blitz, he unloads. And what a catch. My goodness, how did Robinson, between two defenders, come down with it? Between Cox and Griffin. And the Jags suddenly are deep after 28 yards here.
Well, a couple things. First off, what a throw by Blake Bortles. He is under big pressure. It was another blitz. The outside guy came completely free. And what did he do? You got a big receiver. Give him a chance with the throw in the air. And you said it, Robinson, great job of coming down with it. That's what he does, Jim.
Yeah,
he makes those contested catches like that.
He's a big-time talent. He's got 3 catches tonight that have gone over 20 yards, 5 overall. He's over 100 for the night. And here's Bortles. Play action, looking. And he is intercepted. They give it right back. Yes, it is. An interception by Zach Brown. He jumped in front of Julius Thomas. Just when it looked like things were going good for the Jags. Zach Brown with his 2nd pick of the season. Tonight's Skycam is being presented by Mazda. The Titans with their 2nd takeaway of the night.
Well, the coverage was outstanding. Nobody open for Jacksonville. A play that Blake Bortles would have, of course, loved. Wished he would just thrown it away.
There's Andrews. What did you see that went wrong for him?
Well, I just see that nobody's open. That's the biggest thing. Here comes Julius Thomas. They're dying to get the football to him as he goes down the field. And just watch the other receivers. There's nobody open. The crosses are covered. Time to let the football go. And Blake Bortles, hey, easy to second guess. It's not a game of perfection, that's for sure. But Thomas was covered the whole way.
Yeah, he and Bortles still trying to develop that chemistry, with Thomas missing a lot of action early in the season with a hand injury. 2nd and 7. That's Andrews going to set up a 3rd and 1. But a flag is out.
Holding. Defense, number 97. 5-yard penalty. Added to the end of the run. Automatic. 1st down.
Just when they had a chance to force him to punt and win the field position battle, this number of penalties stacking up on the defense. The series premiere of the timeline, the moment Brett Favre walked away, and the story behind his return to Green Bay. The Timeline, a new NFL Network original series, premieres December 3rd, only on NFL Network. 5 penalties on the Jacksonville defense, 8 overall. And 1st down from the 26.
Well, the one thing, Jim, when Mike Mularkey took over, we kind of talked about it a little. He just said it's hard to do it during the season, but he just wanted to change things up. And, say change the culture. That's hard to do in a short week when he got the job on a Tuesday. But you can see his influence a little here tonight. The fact that he's being stubborn with this running game. And I know they're short wide receivers, but just kind of controlling the tempo here ever since they had that drive, that long drive for the touchdown, just being patient and letting Jacksonville commit those penalties to keep these drives going.
Andrews with 73 yards. The 2nd and 10. It's the call again. He is their leading rusher on the season, gain of 1. But he's their leading rusher, and that puts him 43rd overall in the league in rushing. Give you an idea how anemic the running game's been.
Yeah, it's been tough. The offensive line, that's the first thing, too. Mike Mularkey, when he came in, he had to switch the offensive line around, and, of course, that takes time to coordination, to trust each other.
Two on the play clock. 3rd and 8. Pressure, and they get him back at the 17. Audric steps up with the sack.
Yeah, number 75 done a good job in the run game. Comes around this way. Here he comes. Oh, he just fought his way through. He didn't even run a game. Just a good job of overpowering the offensive line.
And it's a loss of 9. Kern punting for the 4th time tonight. He has had a 56-yard boot earlier. This one going out of bounds. Be close to the 40. 43-yard punt. Jacksonville gets the ball back. Mid-4th, down 4. Well, Jacksonville taking over at the 39.
Well, it's a big drive. It's a big situation for this Jacksonville team. This is a game they cannot afford to lose. Being where they are, a beat-up Tennessee group in certain positions, got to find a way to score.
Under pressure, unloads it as Bass was bearing down on him.
You know, this is year 3. This is a game, a 2-7 football team you're going against. And we talked about all the deficiency that Tennessee has. Jacksonville's got to take advantage of it, find a way to win this, and show their fans and everybody the progress they're making as a football team.
As we documented, they haven't had really the occasion over the last 8 weeks, except once, to play before this crowd. They come in off a win, albeit controversial at the end. 2nd and 10. Trying to finally put a little something together because they haven't had these back-to-back win streaks in a couple of years. Trying to say, hey, we're relevant in the AFC South.
Well, this is their chance. I mean, they can win this game. I think we talked about that they win this game, they could be tied Sunday night.
By the end of the weekend.
But think of the other side. How about Mike Mularkey? If his Tennessee Titans can win this game, what they've done the last 3 weeks. Coming in here.
380.
Beat New Orleans a couple of weeks ago. Away from home. 3rd and 9. No chance for Bortles. Not a chance at all. Williamson, Morgan, and a whole brigade of Titans.
Well, it's the blitz, and this is what Tennessee really does well. They come inside, and it's just too much. Nobody comes open fast. T.J. Yeldon does a great job. But when you look at it, Williamson just too quick for the center, gets around him and gets the sack.
And credit to coordinator Ray Horton and Dick LeBeau up there helping out.
Dick LeBeau, yep, that's right. Special assistant.
Anger. Drives the returner back to the 6. It's Edwards. Or it's Douglas. And Douglas falls into a pile at about the 14 after a 59-yard punt. Williamson celebrates the takedown of Bortles. Again, the AFC South led by the Colts and Texans.
Both have tough games this weekend.
Indianapolis against Atlanta. Houston will be hosting the Jets. And Andrews gets the handle for 4. After the postgame, he was a quarterback's worst nightmare, becoming the only player to win 5 Super Bowls. A football life, Charles Haley, tonight after the postgame, only on NFL Network. When we visited with Mike Mularkey and we talked about the division, he said, hey, we're right in the thick of it. That's how he looked at it. Hard to imagine a coach through week 10 at 2-7 But they are 2 games back. If they could pull this one off tonight, who knows? Takedown. Telvin Smith.
What a job by Telvin Smith. The good fake by Mariota, but Smith this time not getting fooled. And watch how he makes the tackle. He gets both arms wide, wraps around the runner. That's the one thing you notice about these linebackers. They can tackle like that.
All that positive talk by Malarkey, something he really got from being around Chuck Noll.
That's right, which kind of surprised me. He said Chuck Noll was a guy that always gave you courage. Even when things were down, he could very positive, and he's kind of used it in his coaching career. Jacksonville's got to find a way here. Big 3rd down to pressure the quarterback.
Yes, they do. With 3rd and 7. Not a lot of pressure, so it results in a pass play about a foot short of the first. Walker looked like when he caught it, he would get it, but 2 Jags converged on him.
Boy, nice tackle by Cyprien. It was a blitz, picked up very well by Tennessee.
His body might have had enough for the first down, but not the football.
All right, good mark.
And it's 4th down by inches.
This is a no decision, of course, if you think, oh, come on, it's only a couple inches, let's go for it.
You don't do that with the lead, with the football at your own
not at this
24-yard line.
Right, with a 4-point lead where it takes a touchdown to beat you. Of course not.
That's Green waiting to get his chance. He's been waiting for nearly a couple of months on IR, designated to return, which occurred this week. Jacksonville will be getting the football back with all 3 timeouts.
Well, if they can get this and somehow score, they'll look back on that series about the defense and go, the tackling, the form is what got this football back for them so quick.
They're just going to wait it out. Not his best punt of the night. Green gallops ahead inside the 50 and to the 30, down the sidelines. One tight there, and the Jags are set up inside the 10-yard line. Waiting to get his chance, and he seized it. Rashad Green.
And the reason he's on and out there, you can see the reason why. Speed. And you said it too, Jim. Not a very good punt. It was low. And what an excellent job by Green, timing it, catching it as he's running forward full speed.
Stafford finally was there to cut off the last 5 yards of it. A 63-yard punt return by Rashad Green.
I can tell you this, not much of a guess on my part. I don't think they'll run it every time here, do you?
Well, that's the thing.
No.
Their play calls, when they've had it inside the 10, the last 2 times they went run, run, pass. Actually turned out to be a sack. Run, run, run.
And you know, Greg Olson, not a conservative coach. We talked about this in the game, and he's going to do it now. He likes his playmakers. Spread the field. By spreading the field makes it easy for the quarterback to see. It really gives him an opportunity to run if nobody's open.
That's after the longest punt return by Jacksonville in 5 years. 1st and goal. Porter. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Julius Thomas.
Well, he caught just about every single pass in practice when they were inside the 15-yard line yesterday. And finally, it was a blitz by Tennessee in the one-on-one coverage.
This is why they went out and signed him. In this part of the field, down this deep, boy, did he make a living, teaming up with Peyton Manning for a couple of years.
Well, you saw the blitzers. They were free, but it didn't matter. That time, Jacksonville had the right play call. That's tough. Derek Morgan, the outside linebacker, trying to cover Julius Thomas.
Extra point now, which is going to be crucial to make it a 3-point margin. He's missed 3 this year, but this one's good by Myers. And now Bortles continues his streak. It was all set up by this young man out of Florida State, Rashad Green, but Bortles has now thrown a touchdown in the 10th game this year, every game he's played.
Yeah, really just got to give Green a lot of credit for the fact that he timed it so well. There's Julius Thomas, make contact, turn, nice throw by Bortles. Doesn't get any easier than that for a quarterback.
His second touchdown catch as a member of the Jaguars. Julius Thomas, the former basketball player at Portland State.
Well, they really need him to come around and get back into the flow of this football team. That's what they're hoping, because when you get inside, we see it with a lot of teams. New England, the greatest example of all, a big tight end down inside against linebackers or safeties, no matter what. They're just great matchups.
Mariota and the Titans, that's been such a struggle for them all season long in the fourth quarter.
And I got the crowd going here finally.
And Mariota lead him back. This is a team that's produced only 24 fourth quarter points the whole year. Tennessee, the lowest in the league. This kick's on the ground. And it jumps right over the head of Andrews. And up against the back pylon for a touchback. So the division that we focused on tonight, under 500 right now, shares the lead with Indianapolis and Houston. And all of these teams 500 or worse in recent years that made the playoffs. All of these teams actually won their first game of the postseason. Carolina last year, the most recent one to do it, beating Arizona.
The old saying, just find a way to get in.
Three and a half to play, and a 3-point Jacksonville lead. Mariota. Supernova is there, breaks the tackle, and the ball comes out. He lost it on contact. And this is part of the Tennessee story this year. They've turned it over more in the fourth than any other team, 9 times.
It definitely was a fumble.
Make it 10. Jacksonville with the recovery. Supernova with only his second catch of the season, both of them coming tonight. And he did a good job breaking off a tackle, but then the ball came loose.
Yeah, what's the difference here late in the game? Jacksonville's tackling. We saw it in the last drive, and here again.
Look at the reach in here and the recovery. House does it. Well, not only forcing it, but he would also have it at the bottom of the pile, coming off the 2-pick game last Sunday.
Yeah, that's a pretty good little stretch for him, isn't it, after last week, making some terrific plays.
Well, off the contact, this ball already was kind of twisted around a little bit in the arms after the arm brister hit.
How about that? A couple guys they signed during the offseason. Julius Thomas, Devon House. It's good. I was going to say it was Gus Bradley, but that was not. I saw all those tattoos on the arm. I don't think that was him.
.319 to play. Tennessee with 2 timeouts. Jacksonville at the 28. Yeldon skipping around and collecting about another 3 yards for Yeldon. It's up to 54 on the night. Yeah, fourth quarter is actually now -9 for the year.
Well, when you're 2-7.
No, mate, still -8 because they actually did get the interception earlier in this quarter. So they're -8 for the year in the fourth quarter. 10 times they've turned it over.
Well, you know, Jim, that stat, you look at it, they play from behind a lot. You take chances, things like that. That's just one of the reasons why they've had so many turnovers in the fourth.
Fake to Yeldon and then running out with it and giving it up. That's Hearns. It's about a yard shy. He made sure that he stayed in bounds.
Yeah, that was a great job staying in bounds, but the bad thing is I don't think he got the first down.
Yeah, it looked like he could have battled for the first. He wanted to go straight ahead.
I think if he'd have just went ahead and dove forward, and he would have definitely got the first down.
Timeout called by the Titans.
This kind of goes to show you always use the timeout sometimes in the first half. But in the second half, you got to protect them like gold. They used it to decide whether to kick the field goal or go for it.
Well, he had to make a decision right there, didn't he, Hearns? If he wanted to go for the marker, he probably would have made it. And he went with the let's keep it in the field of play, but it's third and 1, third and a foot.
Alu is the fullback.
And Tennessee thinks they've stopped him. And it looks like the side judge agrees. Yeldon for no gain.
Boy, he thought for sure when you watched it, the big defensive tackle goes up in there. Looked like Yeldon was going to get the first down. Watch 93 gets a good block. That's Avery Williamson, number 54, just comes in and attacks. Keeps Tennessee's hopes alive.
It doesn't appear that they have the first down. Here's the measurement, and that's confirmed. So 4th and a football.
4th and a football. What do you do as a head coach here? Gus Bradley, you go for it. I mean, it's going to have to sit over there and think about it too much. You're trying to win the game right here.
Of course, you go field goal, and it would put you up 6. And put the ball back in the hands of the Tennessee offense with a chance to go down the field and win it.
That's right.
And you have a chance to go ahead now as Tennessee's got 1 timeout plus the 2-minute warning. You pick up the first. You got a great chance here to run it out. And the last timeout, in fact, has just been used by the Titans.
Yeah, good timeout by Mike Mularkey because the clock was going to start after that measurement, so it would have gone down to the 2-minute warning. You know, use the timeout and let your offense dictate the time and the clock as they call play selections in case you're trying to make that comeback.
Just a reminder, coming up next is the Mazda postgame show, interviews and analysis of tonight's game.
Well, their favorite play tonight, their most successful run.
Hold on, they're bringing out the kicker. They're bringing out Myers. During that Tennessee called timeout, Jacksonville changed its mind.
So they're just saying that the Tennessee Titans cannot drive down the field and score a touchdown against our defense in this situation. With no timeouts.
Myers from 36. For his 4th field goal of the night. And Myers' kick is good. 2:19 to play, and now you'll have a chance to watch Marcus Mariota run a 2-minute drill here.
Yeah, 7 points. Been tough for this offense all night, but it's always a lot easier to make the decisions when I'm not down on the sideline. But, Jim, I would have gone for it to close the game out.
You know, when the schedule comes out, the one thing my partner always looks forward to is what quarterback am I going to see in what position? And when we saw this one, you know, you were already talking about, I want to see Bortles again. You couldn't wait to see Mariota for the first time. So now that you've seen him,
I'm impressed. Yeah, he's everything as advertised. Everything that we saw preparing for this game, everything the coaches have told us. And this is rough out here tonight for this Tennessee offense, missing the wide receivers. And he's conducted himself very well. We've seen the accuracy, but the big thing we've seen is what? His speed. And he's going to make that a bigger part of his game as he goes along here.
Well, he's had all this success on the road this year. Young man who grew up in Hawaii on the island of Oahu, and used to go to the Pro Bowl and stand around and go to a few NFL experiences, try to get some autographs, soak it all up. Grew up a huge Dallas Cowboys fan as a young man. He's going to be going back to the island of Oahu. You got to think many times in his career as a Pro Bowler himself.
Yeah, I like his chances of making it over there as a Pro Bowler. And, you know, you look at this situation right here. No timeouts. That's probably the biggest reason why Gus Bradley said, let's go ahead and kick the field goal with no timeouts. If you don't let them get behind you and get that big play, pretty difficult to get this thing down the field for the touchdown. Different coverage by Jacksonville here in the first down.
Middle of the field. Going to pick up a good chunk with Andrews for 13. Can they hurry up and get another playoff before the 2-minute warning?
Well, the offensive line is not in any hurry, and Marcus Mariota trying to get him going.
Got the snap off just in time. A flag is down as the ball is thrown out of bounds. You know, that was Mariota hit hard by Branch.
Well, the whole offensive line slow to get up there, not even realizing the situation.
Looked like maybe Tennessee was not fully set.
That's what I think.
Illegal shift. Offense, number 83, was not set. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
And I can hear John Harbaugh saying, now you guys call it. The league admitted that they missed the call at the end of the game last week that would have won it for Baltimore. Wow. Boy, pile driven into the ground. 2-minute warning. Thursday night football is brought to you by Bridgestone. Your journey, our passion. And by Pizza Hut's Triple Treat Box. Make any night a holiday.
Well, bad job by Tennessee not getting that playoff and having the penalty. Look at that wristband Marcus Mariota has. He said the two biggest things in this league, the speed of the game, the whole process, and calling plays, something he didn't have to do at Oregon.
And that we really saw that surface as they tried to get a playoff right before the 2-minute warning.
Absolutely.
And got flagged. It's 1st and 15. Look at Jacksonville and Puzzlesny trying to knock that ball out. But again, no timeouts for the Titans. It's going to be 2nd and 7 after an 8-yard pickup across the middle. They still have not gotten a completion to a wide receiver in this half after only 3 in the first half. And there is a big catch by Green Beckham. So just as we say that, that's their first of the second half. The rookie pulls it down.
Yeah, what a catch by Green Beckham on the outside. Good job by Marcus Mariota. Mariota seeing it, making a good throw.
As we approach a minute. Mariota throws off his back foot out of bounds. Again, next, the Mazda post-game show, interviews and analysis of tonight's game.
Well, Jacksonville not sitting back there and just going to let them keep throwing it underneath, getting big chunks of yards. They blitzed, chased Mariota out of the pocket, and he had to throw it away.
2nd and 10 on that Mazda post-game show. The winning quarterback is going to make an appearance. Mariota in trouble, able to flip it at the last moment to Andrews, and he's swallowed up by Telvin Smith. And the clock continues to go with a 3rd down on the way.
Obvious passing situations. This offensive line struggles to protect Mariota.
3rd and 7. And that's good for the first down to Walker.
Got to spike the football, save the time.
Gain of 8, ball at the 40. And there's the spike. Here was the pass to Walker that picked up the first down on 3rd down.
Man, nice job of holding on the football. How fast can Telvin Smith get to position to make the tackles?
Walker goes over 100 on the night with that, his 8th catch.
If this ball is completed in the field of play, you've got to hustle to the line of scrimmage to spike the football and stop the clock.
Rico Richardson in as a wideout. As Mariota throws, and it's incomplete, and no flag. Colvin broke it up away from Harry Douglas. Again, you got to be careful here as you get sacked with that clock running.
Yep, great coverage down the field. Colvin turns, finds the football.
You remember a year ago, the game ended almost at this exact spot on the field with a Jacksonville sack to run out the clock, as Charlie Whitehurst and the Titans were trying to pull off an end of the game miracle. 3rd and 10. Coming after him. Shakes off the sack and gets the completion at the 23. Clock running.
Yep, the offensive line got to hustle to the line of scrimmage and make sure the formation is legal.
And there we go. 5 seconds. And at 5 seconds, you got time for 1 shot at the end zone.
One play. What do you do on the defensive side? Do you play it safe, give him the extra time, or do you make him get the football out of your hand? I would say play it safe.
Who do you go to?
That's a good question.
Do you go to the size of Dorial Green Beckham? Do you go to Walker?
Well, I'd like to find a spot where I'd at least get a chance to throw it to Delaney Walker.
They brought in again Rico Richardson, DGB, Harry Douglas. Timeout Jacksonville.
If I was Jacksonville, they're dropping everybody back to about the 5-yard line, Jim. Don't rush just 3 people. And why is that? Because if you do, he can wait, probably move around, get the extra time, and that's how you get open on a play like this in the end zone to win the game.
You remember right before the first half ended, Coach Bradley called a timeout to set up an interesting formation for his defense to prevent anything crazy from happening. That was back in midfield, right. But he's called the timeout here, and we're going to see exactly what he's going to do as far as dropping back guys. He's sending a total of, it looks like, 6 to the 5-yard line and beyond.
7. Everybody, yep. Look at everybody back in 4 rushers. That's the key.
Here we go. Game on the line. A stumble. And from behind, he's taken down. And for the 2nd straight year, the game ends on a sack. It's Branch that closes it. Taking down Mariota. And the Jags have back-to-back wins for the first time in a couple of years.
Special teams, great tackling. That's what brought Jacksonville back in this game. And this time, as we talked about, Tennessee really worried about their pass protection tonight, moved the quarterback around, but when it counted, they couldn't stop. On top of your screen, there's the rusher. Branch comes off the block, gets the tackle. Would have been interesting if he could have stepped up here and had a chance about another second to throw it into the end zone. Go ahead, you sit there and watch it. You're thinking about the season, and we're still involved in this playoff hunt in the AFC South.
Yep, just a half game back of Indianapolis and Houston. These 2 teams are going to meet again in just a couple of weeks. But this one comes down to the last play, and just as it did last year on a Thursday night, it ended with a Jacksonville sack, snuffing out any chance for Tennessee.
Jim, this is a game that Jacksonville had to win, and they pulled it out late.
Mazda postgame show coming up for Phil, Tracy, Mike Carey, Jim Nance saying so long from Jacksonville.